Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into a question that might just reframe how you see your own resilience, maybe your potential too. In a world where so much feels uncertain, money, status, even relationships, what truly cannot be taken from you. We've been looking into this really compelling collection of insights from a source called the 6 Pillars of Untouchable Power. So our mission today is to uncover what this material describes as like a hidden arsenal of internal power, forces that are supposedly impervious to external circumstances. The source claims these aren't just abstract ideas, but 6 silent, unshakable foundations. The kind that have consistently let people turn challenges into triumphs, build legacies that really last.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it? Because, as the source points out, most people are chasing external things, wealth, reputation, possessions. But we all know how quickly those can just vanish. What's really interesting here is the focus on a different kind of strength. It highlights those individuals who don't just survive tough times, but actually seem to thrive because of them. And the argument is that these people have intentionally built up what the source calls the 6 unbreakable pillars of human power.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with pillar 1, the mindset that rewires your destiny. So the idea here is the mind isn't just where you think. It's like the main arena where your future gets decided. Every thought is either helping you win or working against you. And here's something the material points out. Citing neuroscientific studies suggest that a huge chunk, maybe more than 85% of our daily thoughts can be repetitive and negative. I mean, what does that imply if most people aren't even aware of this internal chatter?
Well, what's compelling here is how the source takes that statistic and then offers this liberating truth, which is that our mindset isn't fixed. It's actually programmable. Our brain has neuroplasticity, right? It's constantly rewiring itself based on what we focus on. So those negative thought loops are not a life sentence. They're just well-worn pathways. Yeah. And this really explains why 2 people can face the exact same tragedy, something profound, and one person builds an empire from it while the other just breaks. It's not the event itself.
It's the internal programming.
Exactly. It's how the mind processes it.
And it's important to be clear what this unstoppable mindset really means, according to the source. It's not about like fake positivity or just ignoring reality. No, it's about radical responsibility, a mindset that's really forged in adversity. It means reframing hardship as fuel, rejection as a lesson, failure as a stepping stone.
Yeah, which raises a crucial question then. If our minds are constantly rewiring, how do we consciously program them? How do we build in resilience, gratitude, that relentless determination? The source suggests that doing this makes you this internal force that external stuff just can't really break, like building an inner fortress instead of trying to control the weather outside.
That idea of internal programming.
Yeah.
It flows nicely into the second pillar, doesn't it? Pillar 2. Knowledge, the only currency that never devalues. This one really resonates. Empires fall, banks collapse, but knowledge, once it's in your head, it's yours forever. The material even quotes Napoleon Hill. An educated man is not one who knows much, but one who knows how to learn. That distinction feels incredibly important now.
It really does. And here's a stat the source uses that just hammers home the urgency of learning constantly. The half-life of professional skills today, reportedly less than 5 years.
Wow, less than 5 years. So half of what you know professionally could be irrelevant pretty quickly.
Exactly. It's an astonishing rate of change.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the source explains that the truly unstoppable people aren't just passively collecting facts. They're in this constant cycle, adapting, integrating knowledge, testing it out, even unlearning things when necessary. In a world being reshaped by AI, automation, rapid change, the real advantage isn't just knowing stuff. It's being able to learn faster and more effectively than anyone else. That's the edge.
Right. So the core message is clear. No one can take away what you've learned, what you've carved into your mind. Knowledge is, like the source says, the seed of freedom.
Okay, let's shift to pillar 3, character, the silent power that commands respect. This pillar gets into who you are when nobody's watching, your internal compass, your backbone. It's what stops you from compromising when temptation or corruption or just the easy way out shows up. And the source makes this really sharp observation. Most successful people aren't ultimately destroyed by some big public failure. Often, it's the small, unseen cracks in their character. Things like greed, lies, arrogance, like invisible termites eating away at their foundation.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah, and look at the historical examples the source brings up. Think about Nelson Mandela. He spends 27 years in prison.
Unimaginable.
Right, and he emerges not with bitterness, but with forgiveness. That incredible strength of character didn't just rebuild his own life, it shook the foundations of a nation. It inspired millions. It just shows how character can transcend the absolute worst circumstances and command this unique kind of respect.
It really underscores that genuine character. It can't be bought. You can't fake it for long either. It's a choice you make every single day in small actions and big decisions.
Exactly. And building that strong character, the source argues, commands respect, even from your enemies sometimes.
All right, moving on to pillar 4, work ethic. The weapon that outsmarts talent. This one challenges a common myth, I think. I mean, how many naturally gifted people, athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, have we seen just fade away? Because they relied only on that raw talent. The source puts it bluntly, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It sounds like a cliche, but there's strategic truth there.
Totally. The material paints this picture of work ethic as that relentless grind. You know, the late nights, the early mornings, nobody sees or applauds, the sacrifices. It's about staying committed long after that initial excitement wears off, that persistence.
Yeah, the novelty fades, but the work continues.
And you know, research actually supports this. Studies often show that things like grit and consistent effort are better predictors of long-term success than just raw IQ or natural talent. So the source is saying you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need the most innate gift. What really sets people apart often is the willingness to just outlast, outwork, and outpersist everyone else. It's about building that sustainable edge through sheer determination.
So what this means for you listening is, well, the world tends to yield to those who simply refuse to give up. Okay, next up, pillar 5, skills, the modern-day survival tools. This feels very relevant right now. In this pretty ruthless 21st century, the source argues that practical skills aren't just nice to have. They're your basic survival tools. Unlike maybe a degree or a title, which can be context-specific, a diverse skill set makes you valuable almost anywhere. Source lists key examples: coding, sure, but also communication, problem-solving, negotiation, creativity, these kinds of things. And get this statistic they mention. Forecasts suggest something like 65% of today's students will end up working in jobs that don't even exist yet.
Wow. Yeah, that really puts it in perspective.
So what does that mean for how we should think about skills?
Well, if you connect those dots, the source clarifies that the future doesn't necessarily belong to the most formally educated, but maybe to the most skillful and adaptable. The unstoppable people don't just master one thing. They build this versatile portfolio of skills like a toolkit, or weapons as the source calls them, ready for anything. This makes them kind of a moving target, you know? No single economic downturn or industry shift can easily pin them down. They adapt, they evolve, they stay valuable.
Okay, adaptable and valuable. That makes sense. And that brings us to the final pillar, number 6, the body, the forgotten engine of power. And the source really emphasizes this one, calling it maybe the most overlooked truth of all. You can have the greatest ideas, the deepest wisdom, the most rock-solid mindset, but if your physical body collapses, it's all for nothing.
It's so true and yet so easily ignored.
The material doesn't just see the body as a vehicle. It calls it the battlefield where every dream is won or lost. It makes the point that chronic illness, constant fatigue, poor health, these things silently kill more dreams than outright failure ever does. That's a pretty sobering thought.
It really is. And what's fascinating is how the source points out that common mistake we see all the time. People sacrificing their health for success.
Right, burning the candle at both ends.
Exactly. Only to find later they have to sacrifice all their success trying to buy back their health.
Yeah.
It's a terrible trade. The unstoppable individuals, the source argues, see it differently. They treat their body like the first business they need to manage. With discipline, with foresight.
It's not an afterthought.
Not at all. It's foundational. So things like exercise, nutrition, sleep, recovery, these aren't luxuries. They are, quote, survival weapons.
A strong, healthy body sharpens the mind. It amplifies everything else. But a weak, neglected body, it becomes a chain, limiting your potential. So the bottom line here is, when your body thrives, everything else multiplies. Your energy, your focus, your capacity. Okay, so we have these 6 pillars: mindset, knowledge, character, work ethic, skills, and body. Now let's tie it all together with what the source calls the crucial insight most people miss. This is where it gets really interesting. The material delivers this pretty chilling observation.
Yeah.
People spend their lives protecting the wrong things. We guard our possessions, we manage our reputation, we chase status, all things that can be wiped out in an instant, right?
Completely fleeting.
Yet we often neglect the only treasures no one can ever confiscate: Our mindset, our knowledge, our character, our work ethic, our skills, and yes, our physical health.
And if you think about the bigger picture, that means the truly unstoppable people, they don't waste energy trying to control what's fundamentally uncontrollable and temporary. Instead, they invest deeply, consistently, in what is eternal within themselves. These 6 pillars, they belong to you no matter what happens outside.
And the source leaves us with this powerful, almost provocative idea.
Yeah.
Once you genuinely build these 6 pillars within yourself,
Yeah.
you will, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, command an unshakable presence. Not because you're trying to be aggressive or powerful in that way, but simply because you cannot be fundamentally controlled or broken by external events.
Yeah.
Money might test you, rejection might sting, failure will definitely happen, but none of it will shatter your core. Because you are untouchable, because you are unstoppable. So becoming unstoppable isn't about never falling down. We all fall. It's about building yourself up internally, pillar by pillar, so that every fall just becomes another reason to rise, higher, stronger, more capable. That's really the core message here.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, the practical takeaway from this source material seems really clear. It's almost a direct instruction. Work on what no one can take away. Fortify the mind. Fuel the body. Sharpen the skills. Guard the character. Cultivate the knowledge. Master the work ethic. It's about that internal focus.
So if you really commit to building these internal pillars, the idea is you won't just survive whatever this sometimes brutal world throws at you. You actually have the capacity to thrive, maybe even lead within it. Something to think about. Which pillar will you start consciously fortifying today? We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.